Welcome back to Llanygorse Park here in North Wales for the Orney Company Super 1 British Karting Championship. It's the third round in the championship in total, but the second round for the Junior X30 class, which is up next. And after Rissington, earlier in the day, I spoke to some of the championship contenders. Angus, race winner in Junior X30 at Rissington. There was a rumour you weren't going to be turning up this weekend. You've been doing some exams apparently, but looks like you made a late decision to come.
Yeah, I decided to come here for Saturday after having my last day of school before study leave on the Friday. I thought it was worth coming along after winning round 1 at Rissington. Yeah, I couldn't really miss the opportunity.
No, absolutely right. And difficult conditions at Rissington, but you obviously revelled in them.
Yeah, the rain just came down just before going out onto the grid, so we had a scrabble for wet tyres, which favoured my height and how I drive the car in general. Just managed to get a gap quite early on, and then from then on it was just about staying consistent, not making any relatively silly mistakes.
And you had a pretty good run in the championship last year. I know at Landau I thought you were very unlucky to get a penalty that day, but things being what they are, you end up I think 4th in the championship by the season's end last time, obviously looking to go 3 better this time.
Yeah, last year, first year of national racing, 4th I would say was a very positive year. Could have been quite a bit better, as you said. Had luck been a little bit more on my way, I'd have said. But yeah, really looking to push on this year. Once these exams are out of the way, then they'll be full throttle for the rest of the season. Really just trying to kick in with these strong results.
Alicia, one of 3 sisters in the championship this season. Lots of girls in the championship this season. You had a good round at Rissington, didn't you? Unfortunately, you got involved in that incident going into the last lap, got a 10-second penalty. But must give you a lot of confidence after the performance at Rissington. You did really well, I thought.
Yeah, I did. I got up to 4th and then I got a 10-place penalty because on the last lap I caught someone's bumper and then my nose cone went in.
Yeah, 10-second penalty I think you got for that incident, but nevertheless still went very well in those conditions, very difficult conditions, weren't they, that day?
Yeah, it was quite good because I like it in the wet. But as I went through the pack, it was really hard, but I got there.
Gordon, quick chat. Leading the championship in Junior X30, so great championship for you so far at what is effectively round 1 for you at Rissington. You obviously like Rissington.
Yeah, it was actually only my second time. I went down to get some practice 2 weekends before and it paid off massively. And we were on the pace all weekend and came out leading the championships, joined with Ethan Pitt, so it was a great weekend.
Yeah, difficult conditions in that final, wasn't it? Absolutely treacherous, the track.
Yeah, I was just praying for it not to rain, and it last 2 minutes it started raining, but you know, you can't really change the conditions, but we've still got the entire championship to go and still a lot of points to carry, so yeah, great weekend.
The Akuriakos name back in British motorsport. Gordon Mutch, one of the represented drivers, and with the Akuriakos brand back in motorsport, backed by the likes of Alan McNish, Dario Franchitti and Ryan Dalziel, what further proof do you need that Gordon Mutch is one to keep an eye on? So he goes off pole position as our joint championship leader. It's going to be very interesting to see if he can beat Ethan Pitt to the first corner. Fender and Greetham are on the second row, with Harrison Smith and Alicia Goundry on the third. Jude Young and Harry McQuillan, Jake Douglas and Tom Westworth. And then keep an eye on the likes of Ethan Rees and Dragon Pinsent just outside the top 10. Here we go once again, and it's going to be Mutch to the first corner, is it? He's going to really work hard. He's just managed to hold on in front of the hard-charging Angus Fender, who's shot up into second position. Great start.
Ethan Pitt tied on points for the championship lead coming into this round as Goundry goes up the inside of Pitt. Alicia Goundry, 3rd place on the 44. She had a pretty good run, finished 4th and make that 2nd as she goes up the inside. Great performance already. She finished 4th. I was trying to finish what I was going to say. Finished 4th at Rissington, but then got that 10-second penalty. She gets nerfed wide. Coming through is the 67 of Angus Fender. Ethan Pitt tries to come through, but Alicia's having none of it. She's fighting hard. Here comes Pitt for 3rd. Drops Alicia back 1, so Alicia goes back 1. Is that 2 through club corner, maybe.
Yes, I think it is. Down to 5th position goes Gowndry, but what an absolutely spectacular battle this is turning out to be. Is Gowndry going to have another go into the inside line? Everybody tight and hard-fisted. Gowndry's being shoved around here. Dropped back 2 or 3 more places. I tell you what, she's got her elbows out here at Gleneagles Park, hasn't she? Really not fazed by anything, and a few bashes. That's going to cause a little bit of an issue. If she can just keep the cards in the straight and narrow, she's got a chance for a podium here, but up to 2nd on the first lap. My word, Alicia Gowndry turning a few heads here.
Well, she was certainly up to 2nd, but she's down to what, 6th or 7th place now. Harry McQuillan looks like he's a man on the move. He started P8, goes through the line there in 6th. Harrison Smith it is in 5th. Oliver Greetham in 4th. That's Gordon Much, the championship leader, by 12 points coming into this race.
It's going to be really interesting to see if Fender and Pitt can now work together. The 2 Jade karts with the gold chassis, of course. They're going to try and work their craft to move up close to Gordon Much and close him in again. The Acuria Cosback driver has got a good lead. Look at that. It's going to be very difficult to get that gap down.
They're not going to catch him, not from there. Gordon Much has got too much for everybody today. That is a comfortable lead, even at this stage. They're going to have to work together to try and get back to him. The drivers, his 2nd and 3rd teammates, of course, Angus Fender and Ethan Pitt, so they may well work together. No, they're not.
Pitt just dives up the inside. They've obviously decided, you know what, he's too far ahead. Let's just go for 2nd position. He even has the nerve once again to signal to his teammate, come on, help me, let's go get him. Well, with a gap like that, it's not really going to work, is it?
Yes, Greetham in 4th place there. McQuillan's up to 5th, so he's made up 3 places so far.
And Gowndry's come back into 6th position past Harrison Smith with Tom Westworth, Dragon Pinson and Jake Douglas rounding out the top 10. So Gowndry is starting to get back on with it, maybe just a little bit too eager in the first lap, but the fastest split, that's Tom Westworth, so he's got a chance to get back into this.
Sector 2 fastest is Westworth. Gordon Much just set the fastest sector in the final part of the lap there, going through the line. So virtual championship points on the right of the screen. That's if things finish now. These are basically the points based on the drivers' positions on the track at any given time. Much had a 12-point lead earlier on, but you see Ethan Pitt's moved up through the field, so the championship lead now is just 6 points if the drivers finish where they are at the moment. Fender there in 3rd place on 366. Jake Douglas, who's a bit down the field in this one, but he's in 4th place currently in the championship standings. Got a move there for 8th place, that's Dragon Pinson, and Douglas goes with him.
Yeah, really, really strong move there into the final turn. Not an easy one to pull off. I tell you what, 2 men in this field that I'm really starting to keep an eye on at this part of the race, and that's one of them, just as I'm about to talk about him, Harry McQuillan. He makes the move on Oliver Greetham. Those are the 2 chaps I was going to talk about simultaneously here, behind Pitt and Fender. They are really starting to step up the attack. In particular, McQuillan has looked very racy in this part of the race. In fact, he's just done the personal best of the race in Sector 1, that is purple, so he's gone faster than anybody in the first part of the lap, and that's put him onto the back of Pitt and Fender, and he's already starting to think about a possible podium here. McQuillan's on fire.
Yeah, McQuillan there, as he goes through past the drone. You see him there in 4th place, right behind Angus Fender, Ethan Pitt in front of Fender. The 2 teammates battling it out here. Comes McQuillan, may go with Fender, he does! So, great opportunist move there by Harry McQuillan, and he's going for it again, and he's through to 2nd.
Superstar, absolutely superstar drive there from McQuillan. He saw an opportunity, he saw that Fender was going for Pitt and thought, right, not only am I going to join you in the apex of the corner and get 3rd position, I'm going to use this as a springboard to get one over on you. Absolutely mega.
And pulled 3 or 4 kart lengths, look at this, already he's pulling away, so he looks like, well, he is the fastest man, I think, on the track at the moment. Later in the race, it's still the man out front, Gordon Much, comfortably clear in fact, and Harry McQuillan has cleared off from the karts, the Jade karts behind.
Well, looking at the pace of McQuillan, he's actually taking a couple of tenths of a second or so per lap on Much. He won't catch him, but he'll certainly give Gordon Much something to sweat about in the last couple of laps as Fender holds on to that 3rd position in front of Pitt. But it's going to be Gordon Much who leaves here with a victory. McQuillan, he is determined. He's on a high to nothing going into the last lap, but he has worked so hard to try and get on the back of the Saltire driver. It's It's not going to happen, but what a race. And look at that, 42.82, 300ths quicker than race leader Gordon Much.
Great performance here by Harry McQuillan. You can see in the Virtual Championship points on the right of the screen, he's in green, so he's moved up in the championship standings. 3:37, couple of points ahead of Jake Douglas. Alicia Goundry, Douglas and Goundry, in fact, have dropped places in the championship in this race, but they're still there. Douglas on 3:35, Goundry on 3:32, but it's Gordon Much who's going to take the win. But you could argue McQuillan, one of the drives of the day, from 8th on the grid to 2nd, but it's Much that takes the win from McQuillan. Ethan Pitt holds on from Angus Fender, and coming in behind, it's Oliver Greetham in 5th place from Pinsent Westworth. Jake Douglas, Shane White, Jude Young rounded out the top 10. Alicia Goundry ended up down in 12th place, disappointing when she was 2nd early on. So Much, McQuillan and Pitt, the top 3.
Tell us about your race. I mean, that was a fantastically well-controlled final. Was it easy as it looked?
It wasn't as easy as it looked. I had the pressure from Harry behind. It sort of surprised me when I saw him all the way from 8th place to come up. He drove brilliantly. I had a really good gap up to halfway, and I made a little bit of a mistake out of car, so I ran a little bit wide. But from then on, I kept up my consistency and led the race to the checkered flag.
And obviously you must be very pleased. Long trip back to Scotland's going to be a happy one.
Yeah, it's a long trip back, but in the end it was well worth it. The qualifying 2 heats and of course the 2 finals. I couldn't ask for a better weekend.
Great weekend for Gordon Much. He's got the championship lead going forward by 8 points from Ethan Pitt. Angus Fender in behind, then Harry McQuillan moves up to 4th. Jake Douglas into 5th place, just a point behind McQuillan. That was Junior X30, Senior X30 up after the break. If the championship leader loses, Sam Marsh, will he become a marshmallow?